Okay, I've uploaded the right file this time. Okay, don't worry. This one is edited. Hello? Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm just about to record a video. I'd just like to check on the status of that mail order, right? Oh, no. Hello, I am the Irish Guy, and today I'm going to take a look at the weirdest transfer every day of July. Right, let's go. First, Tammy Abraham to Besiktas. Yep. I just said Tammy Abraham to Besiktas while staring at my lap. And you know what I'm doing when these players' names are on the screen. I'm fully just staring down as if there's a couple of Smurfs fighting on my knee. But lads, this move is strange to look at. Seeing a former Chelsea star like Tammy Abraham unveiled in a Besiktas shirt at the age of 27, it is weird. I don't want to tell him how to live his life, okay? Although hundreds of people will be coaching me on how to breathe. So what if I exhale like a chimpanzee who smokes? And nobody at school ever taught me to breathe through my nose. But yes, Abraham was proving Chelsea wrong by joining huge, massive clubs when he left, like Roma and AC Milan. I mean, seriously, I know they're fallen giants, but to actually have been on loan at AC Milan, that showed me. But to now go to Turkey, putting his hands in the career of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Lads, his England buddies Dele Alli and the Ox were probably telling him that their stints in Besiktas were about as much fun as chewing on their mum's eyeballs or sitting through an unedited version of an Irish Guy video. But lads, why is Tammy there? Second, Kamaldeen Suleiman at Atalanta. Wow, I am shocked. Lads, I always knew there was a decent player in Kamaldeen Suleiman. He seemed like a mini Sam Maximin in a Southampton shirt, but he was also more frustrating than trying to explain the plot of Inception to your cat. Seriously, after finishing bottom of the Premier League with the Saints twice, are we totally sure he's deserving of an £18 million move to Atalanta, a club who were European champs a year ago? Sort of. The icing on the cake for me is their gaffer. It's Ivan Juric. That Croatian fella who does look like one of those weirdos you read about on the news who've been locked up for kidnapping monkeys from the zoo. This guy, he had an absolute nightmare 6 months in charge of Southampton, but he still bought Sulemana. I'm really shocked that he wants a souvenir from that appalling, gruesome spell. It's like going on a horrible caravan holiday to Hull. You've been mugged, got food poisoning, been dumped by your wife on the final day and bumped into Alfie, and still, you want to get a souvenir from the Hull gift shop? Why? Third, Salomon Rondon to Real Oviedo. How is Salomon Rondon still going? Seriously, it was weird to see this former Newcastle striker popping up at the Club World Cup at Mexican team Pachuca. But to now see him get a move back to European football? I thought he was done when he quit Everton for River Plate. I thought that was the last we'd ever see of this former West Brom centre forward. Lads, Rondon's existence kind of shows how far Newcastle have evolved since the takeover. Because back in 2018, the Geordies loved this guy, having borrowed him from West Brom. Yeah, nowadays, the club of a world-class striker, who right now is trading with his ex. I might do an Isak fan tomorrow, honestly. Oh, don't get me started. And the Newcastle fans are rightly turning their noses up at potential replacements like Rodrigo Muniz. Seriously, going from Isak to Muniz would be like having a tasty cheese toasty ripped off your plate, only to have it replaced with a lump of True Geordie's chest hair. You'd be picking that out of your teeth for weeks. So yeah, Rondon has joined Real Oviedo in La Liga. I swear, doesn't Spencer FC own a chunk of that club? Christ above, Rondon! We play for hashtag next. Fourth, Philip Coutinho to Vasco da Gama. Sorry, I just needed a second to reload. So here we have Philip Coutinho quitting Aston Villa for good. I know, it's crazy to think because it feels like he left Villa years ago. To find out he's actually been still a secret Villa employee for close to 4 years. That boggles the brain. Don't forget, he was a Stevie G collectible. Honestly, even for Villa fans, try to digest that piece of information. It's like finding out that your ex-girlfriend is actually chilling in your attic and she sneaks down at night to lick mayonnaise off your cheek. But yeah, it's mad. Coutinho's still of the year left in his Villa deal. But they've terminated it, allowing him to rejoin Vasco da Gama for free. Yeah, the third most expensive footballer of all time, actually having his contract ripped up by a Europa League club. How embarrassing. Fifth, Kyle Walker to Burnley. What on earth is a treble-winning Manchester City captain doing at Burnley at 35? Lads, this was supposed to be Sheffield United. That was the plan. If the Blades had won the Championship playoff final, I've no doubt in my mind that Chris Wilder would right now be unveiling a 35-year-old Walker. Someone who would have such a huge grin slapped on his face, as if he was excitedly looking forward to whipping it out in a chippy after tea. A romantic homecoming was the only way to make a move to a newly promoted club make sense. But Burnley, choosing to play under a Scott Parker who he probably hasn't spoken to since 2013. Weird. Sixth, Kyogo Furuhashi to Birmingham City. This is what happens when Celtic stars leave Celtic. Don't forget, the 30-year-old Kyogo Furuhashi was an electric Celtic star. Someone smashing on bucket loads of goals in Scotland. He was heavily linked with the move to Spurs. Yeah, he goes to Red in France, barely plays, and is now 30. It's newly promoted Birmingham City. But for 10 million. 10 million pounds. What's happened there? Is this the Netflix paycheck for the Tom Brady roast? This is an astonishingly expensive coup. The third biggest deal in the history of the club. I'm impressed. Seventh, Ron Robert Zeder to Cologne. 36-year-old World Cup winning goal. Okay, it's not weird at all, but there's nothing else for the 7th. Next. 8th, Ramon Sosa de Palmeiras. Wow, that didn't last long. Remember last summer, all the fuss was over Nottingham Forest signing this exceptionally talented Paraguayan winger from Talleres, penning a 5-year deal. He was going to be the business. Someone about to make Miggy Almiron look like a bag of melted cookies. Yeah, one summer later, he's quit Europe completely, running off to Palmeiras in a £10 million deal. Wow, that was quick. Wow, is he scared by the threat of fish and chips? You don't have to eat it, mate. 9th, Theo Hernandez to Al Hilal. I shouldn't really be surprised by this anymore, but part of me thinks this is sad. Theo Hernandez is a world-class France international left-back who deserved an upgrade from the AC Milan team, sure, but at the age of 27 and in the World Cup year, he's abandoned his bro and massively put his international career on the rocks by running off to Al Hilal for £21 million. Oh yeah, and a ridiculous £350,000 a week 3-year deal. 10th, Christian Norgard to Arsenal. Who saw this coming? Who? Nobody at all. It's one of those summer transfers where you are genuinely shocked. But yeah, Arsenal storming into soap a £10 million deal for Brentford's captain, Christian Norgard. It's one of those clever transfers where you sit back and think, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? But for Brentford to happily sell their captain, the most tumultuous summer for years and years and years and years, it's about as clever as uploading the wrong file to YouTube. Aussie lads, what next? Are you going to tune in one day to see a video of me cleaning the toilet? Nah, I haven't cleaned that since 2012. 11th, Jacob Brun-Larsen to Burnley. Why is he back? Why? Jacob Brun-Larsen is a 26-year-old Denmark international winger who was already on loan at Burnley the last time they went down. This is supposed to be a new era under Scott Parker, where they've chucked this fanciful pet ball in a bin. They're concentrating going back to basics, honestly. I'm guessing that Parker is now wearing even the same cologne as Sean Dyche, and when he's out to dinner, he's probably tempted to ask for a bowl full of worms. But to bring Larson back on loan, a souvenir and memory from the club's last Premier League failure? I don't get it. 12th, Mason Holgate to Al Jarrafah. Well, this is just the mother of all weirdness. Mason Holgate has finally quit Everton after 10 years, and let's be real, his time at Goodison Park was probably done about 3 years ago. He's been loaned to West Brom, Southampton and Sheffield United. Deals that make sense considering I don't think anyone outside of England knows who he is. And okay, no, actually, because he is a Jamaican international centre back, but I mean, calm down, guys. He's getting picked by Steve McLaren. Yeah, I don't exactly think this grubby Doncaster boy is getting slapped on Mount Rushmore with Bob Marley and the blokes of Cool Runnings. Anyway, 28, he joined Al Jarrafah in Qatar, joining forces with Hozelu. Weird. 13th, Yusuf Poulsen to Hamburg. It's just weird to see Yusuf Poulsen anywhere but RB Leipzig, isn't it? This 31-year-old Danish international forward has been with them since 2013, when they were in the 3rd division of Germany. For him to have always been part of this meteoric rise is huge. He's like their lucky teddy bear, but has now been sold to Hamburg for a pitiful £1.3 million. It's weird. He's been there so long, but the minute Jurgen Klopp walks through the door, oh, he must have decided that Poulsen is no more valuable than a crisp sandwich. 14th, Luka Modric to AC Milan. Again, for the exact same reason as before. Poulsen was at Leipzig for 12 years. Luka Modric was at Real Madrid for 13. Sorry, but when he joined from Tottenham in 2012 and was soon voted the worst signing in Spain, did anyone think he'd be there until 2025? No. It was about as likely as the other 2012 La Liga flop, Alex Song, still being at Barcelona now. Nah, instead he retired in the Djibouti Premier League and probably now feeds donkeys on a farm. But yeah, it is weird to see Modric snap up a deal at AC Milan, considering he turns 40 next month. Weird. 15th, Jordan Henderson to Brentford. Yeah, 13 years after Jordan Henderson begged Liverpool not to sell him to a mid-table London club. Yeah, finally we see this guy rocking up at Brentford on a free. Lads, I think Jordan Henderson is actually the secret mini manager at Brentford. Considering they've got the most inexperienced baby manager in Premier League history, this seems like Henderson being the secret brains on the training pitch. A bit like when Liam Ross Sr. was actually quietly doing the managerial good work at Derby County, with Wayne Rooney masquerading as the chubby face of it. Yeah, weird. 16th, Johan Bakayoko to RB Leipzig. This seems very strange. For years, Johan Bakayoko was linked with a huge £40 million move to Premier League clubs. An absolutely sizzling Belgian wing wizard at PSV Eindhoven. But now, to see him just quietly slink off unchallenged to RB Leipzig for just £15 million. I don't know, it seems like an anticlimax. He was on the verge of becoming Brentford's record signing 2 years ago. So for him to now be sold for what, just the price of a Paris Hilton handbag, is more anticlimactic than Sean Bean's story in Game of Thrones. 17th, Alisson played to PSV Eindhoven. Look, this isn't that weird. It's just a blast from the past throwback. Back when Rafa Benitez was in charge of Newcastle, France international winger Alisson Play was the guy linked to the move to St James's Park over and over and over again. Seriously lads, Sam Maximin was the plan B. I'm convinced they only signed Maxi because they kept watching him at Nice when they were on scouting trips to see the guy on the other wing. Anyway, Play rejected Newcastle to go to Borussia Mönchengladbach instead. And now 7 years later, to see him quit them, even after a very good 12-goal season from the wing last season, he's now replacing Bakayoko at PSV. Lads, maybe it's because back in 2018 I watched so much footage of Play on YouTube. This just feels like a blast from the past. A bit like if I bumped into Barney the dinosaur down my local chicken hut. 18th, Noni Madueke to Arsenal. What is this? I know Arsenal love signing Chelsea rejects, but 52 million? Ah, it's ridiculous. 19th Federico Bernardeschi to Bologna. Yeah, considering Federico Bernardeschi won Euro 2020 and then dipped from Italy, choosing to spend 3 years lazily living in Canada with Toronto FC, it feels like he should be about 37 by now, right? No, he's only 31. That's crazy. It's like finding out that Reese Witherspoon isn't even 50 yet, which is crazy considering it feels like she's been around in films since before the Titanic crash. But yeah, he's back with Bologna on a free. 20th, Danilo to Botafogo. Again, this seems like another underwhelming Forest exit, because Brazil international Danilo started Nottingham Forest season in midfield last year, and he looked like he's going to go on to cement himself as a top player, like what Andre has done at Wolves. Now, he suffers an almost season-ending injury, barely plays all year, and now instead of sticking around for European football, he's just quit Europe completely, scuttling off to Botafogo for 20 mil. Mighty shame, that one. 21st, Matteo Retigui to Alcaja. Absolute disgrace. I'm sorry, but Matteo Retigui was an absolute Serie A star. He just exploded in his debut season at Atalanta with a ridiculous 28-goal season up front. Well, even at a Serie A match where he scored 4, he could easily have joined an Arsenal, a Chelsea, a Man United. The 26-year-old Italian would have had his pick of clubs. But instead, he chooses to replace Aubameyang at Alcaja. A big £56 million transfer fee, sure. And yeah, he's going to earn £350,000 a week. But I'm sorry, this one stinks more than that cheese omelette in your fridge. 22nd, Marko Arnautovic to Red Star Belgrade. I'm just amazed that Marko Arnautovic is still on the move. Yeah, just 3 years after fan reactions scared Man United away from signing it, this 36-year-old Austria international striker has quit Inter Milan on a free for Red Star Belgrade. Oh, he's been around for... I'm exhausted just looking at him. 23rd, Evan Ferguson to Roma. What is this? I'm delighted. I'm actually dancing on the moon. Because Evan Ferguson scored a Premier League hat-trick against Newcastle at 18, was linked with Ballon d'Ors and £100 million price tag, and then he just stopped. Seeing him as a non-scoring West Ham Turkey on loan last season, that was abysmal. But to see Ireland's biggest talent now rescued with a hugely respectable loan move to Roma, yes! And to see him score 4 in his debut, double yes! Lads, there is no overseas player in the world I'm rooting for more this season than Fergie. Come on, an ex-Ireland international striker playing for one of the big wigs in Italy. This is like Robbie Keane at Inter Milan all over again. He never scored a single Serie A goal. 24th, Ruben Kluivert to Lyon. Even the rubbish Kluivert is getting a European giant. Can someone please just explain to me what Patrick Kluivert has with his Cocoa Pops before he impregnates his wife? Because not only is his son a Premier League star with Bournemouth, not only is his youngest son Shane at Barcelona, who signed a Nike contract at 9 and released 2 cookbooks at 11, but now the 24-year-old Ruben, an unflashy centre-back who looked like the dunce of the family, the untalented one who's playing for a lowly FC Dordrecht just over a year ago. Oh no, he just traded Casapia for Lyon. Absolute France giants Lyon. So suddenly, Barcelona, Lyon and Bournemouth. Now Justin looks like he's been shown up by his little bros. Everyone's got a European giant but him. 25th, Rodrigo de Paul to Inter Milan. Remember whilst at Udinese, Rodrigo de Paul was held up as the best young midfielder in Europe? Seriously, 4 years ago, he had more hype than an up-and-coming Bruno Guimaraes at Lyon. Yeah, he's now 31 and the Argentina international has been loaned from Atletico Madrid into Miami, and make no mistake about it, I'm sure he's only there because he wants to stalk Messi. 26, Jordan Verretou to Al Arabi. Remember when this guy was an Aston Villa flop? Yeah, Jordan Verretou rebuilt his career as a decent midfielder in Italy and France, and now has just clawed himself a big money move. At 32, quitting Lyon for Al Arabi. A bit weird, I guess. 27th, Vanja Milinkovic-Savic to Napoli. Again, this seems weird. Former Man United goalie Vanja Milinkovic-Savic quitting his job as being Torino's first-choice goalkeeper to join Antonio Conte's Napoli on loan. So, Torino are happy to let someone borrow their first-choice goalie, and he's happy to go and sit on their bench. Yeah, weird. 28th, João Felix to Al Nassr. João Felix is 25, and he's making the exact same move Cristiano Ronaldo made when he was pushing 40. Felix was supposed to be Portugal's best produced talent since Ronaldo, but to join Al Nassr on a permanent deal is horribly sad. What's also weird is that it's only a 2-year deal. The 4th most expensive footballer on the planet is going to be a free agent at 27. What? 29th, Asmir Begovic to Leicester. How is he still playing? 30th, Granit Xhaka to Sunderland. I've already done a video on this. What on earth? Why is Granit Xhaka, the Bayer Leverkusen, one of the best players in Germany, a Bayer Leverkusen midfield machine, why is he agreeing to join Sunderland? It's very strange. 31st, Thomas Muller to Vancouver Whitecaps. Vancouver Whitecaps? Really? After 25 years of Bayern Munich, Thomas Muller has agreed an MLS deal ashore, but Vancouver Whitecaps? It's like ditching your wife of 30 years to run off with Goofy from Disneyland. It's gonna look so weird. I bet like how my eyes still can't really adjust to seeing a Bundesliga legend like Marco Reus now in an LA Galaxy shirt. It's like looking directly at the sun. Muller isn't even joining a glamorous MLS side like an LA or an Inter Miami. Oh no, it's full on Canada. He's won the World Cup, sure, but he's going to be in the shadow of hockey. There's not a single other recognizable name in this Vancouver squad. He is the only star. What a bizarre deal. He's going to get very frustrated very quickly when he realizes that his teammates have the collective technical ability of a broken teapot. Anyway, that's the video. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? What was the weirdest deal of July? Let me know in the comments. Enjoy the video. Don't forget to click, share, subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while. Nearly there. Nearly there.